Okay, these should be your scientific method and inquiry notes. You're putting them on page 3 of your journal. You should be taking notes along with this video. If you need to pause it, that's fine. Just make sure that you get all of your notes written. Go on ahead and get started. Oh, I almost forgot. Go down to the bottom of your page. Count up 3 lines. And draw a line all the way across for you to write your summary later. All right, now we're ready to get started. So the scientific method or scientific inquiry is just a way for scientists to find answers about the natural world. What this means, natural world, is just the trees, the earth in general. Ways to find out answers about the earth, about space, about the things that surround the earth in space. So scientific inquiry. Oops. Is just a strategy or a process used to find used for scientific investigation, so experiments. And I don't care if you write in the margins when we take notes. If this was an actual paper that you were going to turn in for a grade, you should not be writing past these red lines. But for notes, it's fine. Let's go through the scientific method. First, you need a person. I don't care who your person is. I'm going to name mine Josie. Take some time, pause the video, draw that person, come back, and we'll get started. Okay, so I've drawn Josie. And she has a question. She wants to know, can you change the color of a flower? Some of you may have done this experiment before. Don't spoil it for people next to you. Oh, that's weird. There we go. Every time we start an investigation or an experiment, we're going to have to ask a question. When we ask that question, we then get to move on to doing some research. I don't care if you do your research with a book. I don't care if you do your research with a computer. But you must do research, and it should be over the topic that you are questioning. So Josie's not going to look up a book on space and try to answer her question, can the color of a flower change? It just doesn't make sense. After she does her research, she has some sort of idea of what she's talking about. She's going to start looking at writing a hypothesis. This is an if-then statement that's going to answer her question. So if I put a plant in a cup of dyed water, then the petals of the plant will change. Once she has her hypothesis, she's going to start her experiment. You guys know what an experiment entails. You're actually going to do you're actually going to test your hypothesis. You're going to do the activity that relates back to your question so that you can prove your answer, or so that you know if your hypothesis was wrong. Once you finish your experiment, you're going to analyze. Whoops. This just means you're looking at your data. You're looking at what happened during your experiment. And once you analyze, you should form some kind of conclusion. So you're looking at, was I right or was I wrong? If Josie was correct in her experiment, then she's going to share it with other people. She can share it on Instagram. She can share it in a paper. She can do a presentation, any way she wants to share her information. If she was not correct, that means her hypothesis was false. She has a few options from there. She can go back and do more research. She might have a new hypothesis now. Or she might want to do her experiment again to make sure she didn't get anything wrong. If it keeps coming out false, she knows there might be a problem up here in her research or in her hypothesis, and she's going to need to change that. This could also change the things that she shares. She should tell you if she tried something else and it was wrong, and so that other people know, I shouldn't do it that way. Last thing you need to know is that this is not a cycle. It does not go in a circle. It kind of started that way, but you can see it branches off in too many different ways. There's more possibilities. You do not have to stay in order all the time. Sometimes you're going to do your research and you're going to have this idea and you're going to jump to analyzing things in your research. You might draw a conclusion from your research. Should you test it yourself? Of course. When you are done, I want you to go down to your summary, and I want you to explain to me why you think the scientific method is important. You are not writing the question like I have. You are just answering it in your own words by yourself. Do not get help from a friend. Code word for today. How about lemonade? When you are done with your summary, show me your code word and you are good to go. Get started on the next thing.